don't need it. I mean, I don't guess that they have their front covered.
Yeah, they have it.
That's all I
Is that right?
All right, well, good evening, everybody. It's now 6 o'clock, so I'd like to welcome everybody to the Town of Greensboro Town Council meeting. We're recording do-over again.
Sometimes that's 6 o'clock. Yeah, can we please look at the lights? All right, now you're.
Now we're ready, okay. All right, good evening again. It's now 6 o'clock. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Greensboro Town Council, April 17, 2025. Council meeting will be
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Council, for the opportunity to lead in prayer today. Let's bow together. Father God, we thank you for this privilege of coming before you, acknowledging your presence in our lives, the wisdom and guidance and strength you give us to lead, to follow, and to respond to the needs of our community in a responsible way. And Father, I just pray that you would bless this day, help us to remember the great commandment to love you with all of our heart, soul, strength, and mind, and to love our neighbor as ourselves. And we're thankful, Lord, for the demonstration of love that you gave us when you sent your Son to die on the cross for our sins. Lord, we remember that this week as we celebrate Good Friday tomorrow, Easter Sunday, and the resurrection of new life that you've given us. Lord, would you bless our commissioners, our mayor, all who are gathered here tonight. May our hearts be open to what you want to accomplish through us. We pray in Christ's name. Amen.
All right, thank you. David Castle from Sunrise Solar. No? Moving on then to critical area update, Michael Macon. Good evening.
My name is Charlotte Sheridan, I'm also with the critical area superintendent here, and I want to help with our dog and pony show for this evening. So I believe Jamie provided you all with the ordinance a couple weeks ago. I've also provided another copy tonight, which he says helpful. So just to give you a little bit of background on why we're here last
I
year.
don't mean to interrupt you, but could you get closer to, like, I'm
Sorry.
sure the people in the back can't hear you.
Sure, is that better?
Or you pick it up, take it to you, whichever.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. So just real quick to give you a little bit of background on why we're here. Last year, the Maryland General Assembly passed a bill that updated our critical area law, the natural resources article, and it placed some, among other things, it placed some deadlines on local jurisdictions updating their critical area ordinances to bring them into agreement with the state regulations and the state law. We have a lot of jurisdictions in the critical area that have their own critical area program. Every jurisdiction does. And over the years, they're supposed to be updated every 6 years. That was actually extended with the updates last year to every 10 years now. But with that extension, we wanted to really push to make sure that all of our jurisdictions get updated as fast as possible. And so as part of that effort, we brought on a part-time contractual employee who has been working with all of the towns specifically to get their programs updated, because we know that staffing is limited and resources are limited for a lot of the municipalities in the critical area. And so what Mike has done is he's provided, he used our model ordinance, which we also updated last year, so that is basically kind of model program language for jurisdiction's critical area program. It basically meets like the bare state standards that are required. So he took that model ordinance and our the ordinances for existing municipalities who weren't up to date yet, and he just basically kind of took, you know, for the town of Greensboro, he did that update for you and track changes, and that's what you see before you. So there are a couple places in the model ordinance that a decision needs to be made by the municipality as to whether they want to adopt certain provisions. They're considered opt-in provisions in our law and regulations. And so actually Michael is going to talk to you a little bit more about those specific places.
Okay, yeah, and there's only two that you really need to key in on, and they're marked by post-its, page 31, which is looking at non-water dependent structures on piers. I don't think you have any piers in your town, but if you were to consider this for the future, it may be worth it. It's mostly if someone wanted to put like a concert venue or some restaurants or something like that on a pier, you'd want this provision just to allow that use. Without piers present, you may not really think it's important and just opt out of that language. The next is on page 39, and this is allowing for an accessory dwelling unit or like a small like in-law suite on a property within the resource conservation area. Again, within your town, there's not a lot of resource conservation area. If we look at the map back here on the wall, it's the green portion within the town boundary. And then you just have like a little chunk on the south side that's currently agriculture, and a little piece on top. Here's another map that's just within your city boundary. So it's just a few little spots where that would be applicable. But it's just allowing for that accessory in-law suite apartment kind of addition onto the property. Those are pretty much the only two areas that require like an opt-in, opt-out. You already have that accessory dwelling unit language in your existing code, so you could just opt to keep it as is, and there'd be really no change. The rest of the changes in here, it seems like a lot. It's mostly just updated definitions, updated language, updated terminology. There's no substantial, significant impacts to the way the critical area is managed. It's mostly just bringing it up to the new standards and terminology. But please take a look at it and let us know what you think about those two sections. Yeah.
Anyone on the council have any questions? Would you like to consider opting out tonight so that Lindsay can prepare our ordinance for the meeting with the language struck, I guess?
Yeah, so you have an ordinance, and if you're comfortable, you can either introduce as written, or you can introduce as amended if you want to make those decisions this evening. Or you can take some time to review it and be prepared at your next meeting to introduce the final version.
What would the council like to do?
I mean, basically, it's only making decisions on two different things, correct?
Correct, the rest is under
So
state
it's
law.
already there.
Right.
So either we'll allow a restaurant to be built on the water with a pier, correct?
Here, yeah.
Or, and what's the other one?
It's about the envelope.
Yeah, which you already have.
Which you already have,
You
so
already
you
have.
can just elect to keep the accessory dwelling unit.
Just to clarify, for the structures on piers, there's actually two separate pathways there. So one is the commercial, really it's like a restaurant or a marina. A lot of jurisdictions adopt that to allow like dining out on piers. But there's also one for renewable energy that can be located on piers, and that includes things like solar panels, wind turbines, and like geothermal infrastructure that's needed. But that is typically for like small residential uses, and it places limits on like the height of like the wind turbine, the size of those kinds of things. So you're not going to have, you know, like the offshore kind of size wind turbine out of here. It's limited, I believe, to 10 feet or 8 feet. I'm not sure, but it's in there. I can. So yeah, there, and you can also choose to adopt neither of those options. You could choose to adopt only one of them, so either the commercial uses or the renewable energy ones, or you could adopt both of them.
don't think anybody's gonna put wind turbines in the top 10 here because it's too damn small.
All right, so I will read the ordinance that Lindsay has prepared for us tonight, and look to see if anybody wants to introduce it. It's ordinance 2025-0-1, an ordinance of the town of Greensboro to amend section 3 of the Greensboro Land and Development Ordinance titled Definitions and section 17 titled Critical Area Overlay District to comply with recent amendments to the Natural Resources Article. So I will look for somebody to introduce that.
I'll go ahead and introduce it.
Second.
Second. Second. Pete, I thought I heard the second. Second, Pete, do you want us to vote on that tonight?
Yes, just on the introduction, and then you'll schedule a public hearing.
So, all in favor of this, vote, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed? All in favor.
Okay.
I thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, all right, and then next on the agenda is Amanda Weaver.
Friends,
Good evening.
evening. I really like that Pastor Doug's beginning of sermon today said, respond to our community in a responsible way. That's lacking here, and that's what I intend to address tonight. We're gonna start small and then roll into all the big things. I'd really like it if we started using the microphones. We can barely hear you guys in the back. You guys are pretty clear on asking us to use the microphone over here and at this table, but if council could lean in a little bit, that'd be fantastic. The same for the podium. If we could have the same practice all the way around. Some people sit down, some people stand up. You can't really follow it. Small inconsistencies like this that you show in the public eye help people know that they can't trust you behind the scenes. If you can't have the same policies in front of people, how can we expect you to have the same policies when you're not standing in front of us? I've been really concerned about the budget lately. I've listened to Kim's videos. I keep hearing the mayor say things like, I don't know, let's refer to Jamie, let's refer to this, but I read the charter and you're supposed to be in charge of that. So I'm curious why you're not fulfilling that charter obligation. I'm curious about how the town's finances are being managed. There's no town manager here, and even when the town manager was here, it was supposed to be for the mayor, for our charter, and that wasn't happening. Everybody here knows that, because the mayor constantly says, well, can somebody else tell me? So I'd like for you guys to follow up and let me know what mechanisms you're gonna put in place so we can get the budget and finance obligations under control. On February 15th of '24, the conversation with updating the charter was paused. It was stated that, the mayor stated that Lindsay Ryan put a stop to the charter being amended or updated because of verbiage. I asked her specifically and she said no. So I'm curious about when we're gonna start updating the charter again. I think that's an extremely important part, down to the very simple fact that the entire charter refers to men. Like, simple language needs adjusted as well as everything else. Since 2022, we've been discussing having the police vehicles marked. It was voted then that ghost lettering should be placed on the vehicles. That hasn't happened. It's been years. I just listened to another, it might have been video a couple weeks ago where Chief Trump said he wasn't even aware that needed to be done. I think it's important for the ghost lettering to be completed so that it makes the officers more visible and approachable. It helps children and residents identify who is actually a police officer, not just someone cruising around in a black SUV like myself and Mr. Cunningham. As you know, it's a small town. There's a lot of gossip. Something that I found really exciting as when I worked here not too long ago, I was constantly accused of spreading rumors and talking to people I shouldn't have been talking to. What's really crazy is the amount of people that come to me telling me things that are happening here that I'm like, this is crazy, how do people know? Like, that Scott Getchell's gonna sit on the interview board for the town manager position. And I'm like, why would anybody know that? Why? That's crazy. So anyway, to address the fact that things come out, I'm just concerned about one of the things that I was told is that you guys were looking into hire possibly Amber Farrell or Jeanette Delotte, and I really hope that you're not gonna bring past employees to the new future of our towns. That was actually said to me the day that I was fired, so I'm really hoping that that doesn't happen. I'd like to respectfully suggest that the mayor not serve on the interview panel for the town manager selection. You might have insight, but stepping back from the interviews will help maintain impartiality and transparency, especially since the town manager reports directly to you and the council. The separation will avoid perceived bias and reinforces trust in the process. I still feel like you should be able to share your input during the final deliberations, but I don't feel like you helping make the selection will help us trust you anymore. I just feel like all the things that I've said to you guys tonight are constantly brought up and never dealt with. And as worked with you guys one-on-one, everybody says that they hate kicking the can down the road, and that's a perpetual cycle here in Greensboro. So if I cannot be working for the town and help to ensure these changes are being made, I'll just be on the agenda reviewing them every time. My job allows me to be here. I know a lot of people's doesn't, but mine does. So I know that you guys can't respond, which is another thing. You should either respond to everybody or respond to nobody, not 50-50 when you feel like it. You should have the same process all across the board. But I guess next month I'll be here and we can review the answers to all my questions being reported. I'm sure Ms. Dawn will have it in the minutes, and that we can have a little bit of rapport back and forth so that the community knows what's going on.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
So the next on the agenda is the approval of minutes from previous meetings. You have minutes in your packet. I'm sure that you had a chance to review from meetings. I'm going to read these through. February the 10th, February the 13th, February the 20th, February the 27th, March the 6th, March the 13th, March the 20th, and April the 3rd. So I will look to see if anybody on the council has any questions about any of those minutes.
I don't, we've only got them all, so I did get to read them all, so.
Just for clarification, the reason why we did not get to approve those minutes was because a lot of us were having problems with our emails. So that was the holdup, but we have them all. Thank you for printing them out, and we're good to go. So I'll make the motion to approve the meeting minutes from February 10th, February 13th, February 20th, the 27th, the workshop from the 6th, the workshop from the 13th, the council meeting from the 20th, and the workshop meeting from April 3rd.
All right, we have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? The minutes are. Department reports. Okay.
Can you hear me? Yep. Okay, so we made Julie full-time 3/31/2025. She will now be doing code enforcement along with other tasks. Jamie and Julie will head the fishing derby and Kids in the Park Day. We followed up with Legit to get some coverage on the sinkhole issue that we've had. I set up a meeting with Chad from the Historical Society. It'll be Jamie, Pete, and Christina. I posted the town manager ad on Facebook, the MML website, and on our website, and Lindsay put it on Indeed. And we are working with other towns to get interview questions for that. And as suggested, we have reached out to a CPA to assist us with the upcoming budget in the past audit of 23 and 24. And I just want to add that the fence at Kinnaman is being built near Bernard, and Brandon has been in contact with them daily or every other day to make sure everything's going good.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yep.
Jamie.
Jamie, if I could say something real quick, I just, you're the acting town manager, and I just want to thank you so much. Just your correspondence back and forth with the council, the emails and everything is much appreciated, so thank you.
All right, Buzz, anything, Dana? All right. Chief Crowns.
So we're here today to discuss the potential of a police canine. I have provided all the information that the council has asked for, to include the budget, the itemized things that go along with the canine. So if you have any further questions for me on the canine, so we can vote on it, I'll be more than willing to answer any questions that you may or may not have.
I have a question. So the dog is retired from the Fredericksburg Police Department. So as a retired animal, is Fredericksburg still responsible for all its medical bills?
If anybody didn't hear Commissioner Bria, the dog is retired from her former agency. Currently, as a retired canine, the former agency is responsible for, I think it's 4 years and or $10,000 care for the dog. If the dog is reinstated, then the agency that she was at would then relinquish that, and then our agency would take on the food care, kennel care, and all that sorts of stuff, yes.
Does anybody else have any questions for Chief?
Chief, I do have one question. I don't know if you heard this, but is this rumor true that I guess the sheriff is looking for dogs also for the county?
Yes, as of today, the Caroline County Sheriff's Department only has one canine that's getting ready to retire shortly. Sheriff Baker did ask the Caroline County Task Force to fund the purchase and the training for 2 police canines and 2 police officers. That was asked for today, and it was approved in a meeting earlier today.
So in Caroline County, how many dogs do we have?
We currently have 2, one at the Caroline County Sheriff's Office and one at Denton Police Department. It's a large county.
Well, my concern is the age of the dog and any medical bills that may occur from her age. If we institute her, then we're responsible for all those medical bills, and they could rack up. This dog could live to be 17 or 18 years old. So for another 7 or 8 years, we're gonna be responsible for that dog's medical bills. And they could be racked up.
So I will add, one thing is if you feel that the dog is serving beyond her useful life, there is the opportunity after hire to retire her so that there wouldn't be the expenses carrying for her still being employed. But there is a requirement that when you retire a police dog, you are responsible for the cost up to $10,000. And it's not an out-of-pocket upfront cost, it is reimbursable. So the dog's owner would have to provide proof, receipts, that there are actual medical and food expenses to get the reimbursement from the town. But it wouldn't be $1,000 a year for 15 years. It's capped at that 10. So if there's one incident that meets the 10,000, then that's what they get paid.
Chief, let me ask you just one other question. I do work in Talbot County. Is it true that a Talbot County dog was called all the way down here?
That is correct. Last week, I believe it was this week. It was either Monday or Tuesday. A state trooper in Marydale requested a police canine. There was not one available in Caroline County, Queen Anne's County. So they went to Talbot County, and an Easton Police K-9 traveled 45 minutes to assist and conduct a canine scan of a dog in Marydale. Prior to that, a Caroline County Sheriff's Office who was assigned to Ridgely, he requested a dog. However, he did not have enough to have the dog respond from Easton. While the dog was here in Marydale, much closer than Easton, the same officer conducted another traffic stop, requested that Easton Police dog to respond to Ridgely.
Yeah, I understand the shortage of the dogs in the county, and I understand they're a great resource. But this is the Greensboro Police Department, and it serves the citizens of Greensboro, and I don't want to hire a dog and have Jeff and his dog called all over the state and the county to do the duty or the job of the dog at our expense. Because we're paying him his overtime. We're going to take care of the dog, assume all his responsibilities, and the officer's not going to be in town, which is where we're hiring him to be. So that's my issue with the dog.
Yes, and you're absolutely, correct that, there is a lot of drugs in our town, and our dog will be used in town. In the former packet that I gave you, there was several emails shared by the state police that did a interdiction, initiative within our town of Greensboro. I'm not going to go, over like everything, except there were 9 police K-9 scans, 15 arrests for drugs. I think that was within a 3-day period where they used one of their police K-9s to do drug traffic stops in our town.
So let me ask you this question, Chief. Let me get closer to this mic here. So I understand what Commissioner Brillia is talking about. Can we make the MOU smaller, like a radius around Greensboro or Ridgely or the next town up, where we restrict our officers that we pay the salary from going from here to Preston or whatever? Can we restrict that or no?
Yes, as the police chief, I have the authority to give a time frame or a mile radius of him and the police canine to respond. If the officer's working by himself, certainly, it will be a smaller, radius. If somehow there's an overlap and, I'm going to be here and then, he, is also working, it can be a case-by-case basis, but if he's working by himself, I can restrict a time frame or a mile radius from our town, so he's not going to Dorchester County or Preston or Fredericksburg. Yes.
And Chief, just for the record, the budget that you presented at the last meeting, the cost for the dog was already calculated in those figures.
Yes, the numbers that I gave you in the workshop is calculated per year for that police canine, yes.
I just wanted to make that clear for those who didn't get to attend.
So I think that the question before the council tonight is that, Officer Adams has been here for some time now, and he'd like to know whether or not the dog can come on duty now or wait till July if you decide that you want to bring the dog on. If you don't want to bring the dog on either time, then I think they owe it to him to give him an answer tonight to know we don't want to hire the dog.
I would, Mayor, I would ask if you would let Sergeant Adams speak. He has pulled several vehicles over. I would ask for his experience to see if...
What? Can't hear you.
You're getting closer to the mic like me.
I'm sorry. I would ask Sergeant Adams to speak on the stops that he has pulled over if a dog is necessary. I guess the vehicles that he's already pulled over, if we had the dogs, will we have made an arrest?
All right. Officer Adams, you want to come forward?
Sure.
you're trying to word it a different way. I know.
No, I understand. So over my short stint here, you guys hear me? Sorry. So over my short stint here, I've done quite a few traffic stops already. From my knowledge and expertise and being a road hound, as I've been for the last 18 years, there's been numerous times where I could have easily called my dog or used a dog on the traffic stops that I had here and possibly could have made arrests out of it. Do I know for certain? If I knew for certain and if I had PC, I would have took him down and probably handcuffed him. But I could have used the dog, and it's a great tool. It's a great asset to have. As far as the health of the dog, she was already given a clean bill of health, and I understand the burden that the town has to pick up. But she was given that, and she has been nothing but a workhorse, and a godsend down south. But other than that, I mean, she does produce, so. Thank you.
So in some of the discussions we had today with Sergeant Adams and some of the girls in the front office, it would cost, we're guessing, about $2,000 between now and July the 1st if we were to bring the dog on board now. I know it's in the budget, proposed budget for next year, but it's not in the budget right now, so we're looking at about $2,000, correct?
That's
Between now
correct.
and July the 1st.
Yes.
Technically, May and June, 2 months.
I'm not against the dog. I'm against the dog right now. And the reason I'm against the dog right now is we have a 2-man police department. So we either have to pay Officer Adams time and a half to go to training, or we have to let him off an hour early, which means his 12-hour shift is now an 11-hour shift. And that's consistent across the board. So until we have a little bigger workforce, I really don't want to schedule less time and have the officers away from town when they should be in town. If we had a 5-man police department, the dog's a great tool. It's the 6th officer. But in a 2-man department, where we only schedule 12-hour shifts, I don't think it's practical to intentionally schedule a guy so that he's going to be away from town. I mean, I have a problem with him not being in town enough. I have a problem with them both working at the same time. So I have a lot of issues as far as that goes. As far as I'm concerned, minimum coverage is minimum coverage, and we're not getting that now. And I think if we add the dog now, we're going to get less coverage because Officer Adams is going to be away. Training on Wednesdays, we're either going to have to pay him time and a half, or he's going to lose an hour shift per the agreement. So it's just a big decision for a small department. It's a great tool. I just have a problem with minimum coverage being made less.
All right, is there any further discussion?
Yes. So, Commissioner Billiard, you said that you are concerned because there's less time due to the 12-hour shifts. If I, as the chief, change the officer's shift to be here more days than the 12-hour shift, and he's actually here more, would that be a consideration in your mind because he'll be here more days? Because as we know, we both work 12 hours and it's 14 days a month.
Yeah, I'm familiar with your schedule. I'll get a copy of it.
Right.
No, my concern is, okay, we're going to be paying him time and a half, okay, which you can say in your budget is this, but overtime is just an educated guess. And if he gets called to do all these live scans, Federalsburg and other places, because as you just said, the sheriff's department doesn't have any dogs, their resources are limited. So if he gets called back to his old playground, because they're drug capital too, or Denton or anywhere else, we're paying for him, it's our asset, but he's not here protecting and doing the job in Greensboro, which is what we're paying him to do. So if you had a larger department and we had more resources, I would be all for this. But a 2-man department, I don't think bringing an asset in that's going to be used other than just in the town. It's going to be used everywhere, and there's going to be training days and stuff. It's going to cost us additional money, and we're not going to get the best bang for our buck.
So, Commissioner, you're a paramedic, and you were
And a former police chief.
and a former police chief.
Yeah.
So there's times when there's paramedics that are backed up, and then your paramedic 16 or 13 would have to go to another, outside of your county to assist. I don't think that this is any different.
Well, it have county units just covering, the Preston truck may be in Greensboro, yes.
Right.
But it's a county unit, protecting county citizens paid by county citizens. You're talking about taking an asset that the citizens of Greensboro are paying for and allowing it to go everywhere at our dime. If you had a bigger department, if you go out and recruit 3 or 4 more officers and we have a bigger department, I'm all for the dog. I just have a problem with a two-man department spreading ourselves too thin to where you're not here where we want you and where we're paying you to be. That's my concern. The dog has a great reputation. Don't get me wrong, I have nothing against the dog. But I just have a problem with right now taking a resource that we just hired and allowing it to do what it's gonna do with that dog, and it's not gonna be here. He'll be here a percentage of the time, but he won't be here all the time. And you can't guarantee that he will.
I mean, in life, there's no guarantees. Absolutely right. You know,
I'm just trying to think of what's best financially for the town.
of course.
I mean, we have a small two-man department, so we have to make a decision. If we keep the police department, we have to, recruit and build it. But if we're not gonna keep the police department, then it falls back on the sheriff, and he just said he has limited resources as well. So we decided to keep the police department. We brought Officer Adams on.
Right, it's staying,
He offered
yes.
us the dog, and I just think right now is a bad time to bring the dog on. I would rather see Officer Adams here, working in Greensboro, than other places.
Well, you know, the chief did offer that you could put a restriction on where he could go, so.
If the rest of the council wants the dog, hire the dog.
You know.
I'm just stating my opinion, because right now, I don't think a two-man police department, I think it's a bad time to do it.
Okay, all right. Well, that's fair. So any more discussion? If not, then I will look for somebody from the council that is so inclined to make a motion one way or the other.
Public comment. Public comment.
Mayor? Mayor, can I ask a question? Is this the time, due to us or, exchanging all the information that you had required, is this the time that public comment has a chance to speak on the K-9? I'm not sure if it is or not.
Well, if the council wants to hear the public comment on the K-9, then we can do that. So we will open up the public comment strictly related to the dog. So if somebody would like to come up and speak, please come to the microphone one at a time and state your name, please.
Chris Mason, can you hear me?
On the back, on the bottom.
I can never figure it out. I have no clue.
On there.
It's right on the bottom.
On the bottom.
There you go.
All right, so we did a public poll, which I sent to Brandon just now. So the townspeople, from a page that's got 535 people on it, there's a 71, I believe it's 70% vote for a police dog. So I ask that you take that into consideration, that out of 535 people on a Facebook page, all related to the town of Greensboro, have voted in a poll to want the police dog. So if that many people are saying and understanding the cost, then I think you should consider having the dog. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? Come on up, Kevin.
Hi, my name is Leva. I just wanted to say that lately, we've known that we all have a lot of drug activity in our town. It's hard to hide, we can all see it. We are using county dogs for any bus that come here within our town. Not wanting to give a police officer, because he has his dog, if we have a dog, over multiple counties, it kind of feels like, I get that they're county, but it's like they can do for us what we can't do for them as a town. If the money is there, which I know we are always talking about the budget, but if the money is there and the dog is retired, so it's kind of like on sale, and we have an officer that's able to train and able to do it, it can bite down and make a difference in our town. And then, yes, we can do a radius or something to where maybe the dog can go to Ridgely. If Ridgely needs help, it'll help our neighboring towns of Ridgely, maybe Goldsboro, just neighboring towns. And the people that we're chasing out of here, it'll chase them out of there, and then at least our neighbors and us, if need be, are more safe.
Amen.
Because it's in our schools, and our schools that we send our children to are not all here in Greensboro. Our schools are Denton, our schools are Ridgely. So those are our neighbors, that's where the drugs are. So I don't think it's a horrible idea. I do understand that we do unfortunately run a ghost crew with our police. I know they're tired, and I know we're still relying on a lot of help with the sheriff's department, which that is also a highly debatable topic because of finances. That being said, I think if we brought a dog in, cut down on the bad and help shoo that crap out of here, we might also generate more interest in other police officers wanting to come work for our town because it's not a big hot mess.
And better tenants.
Thank you.
So-
All right, thank you.
Kevin Parks. I think you're in the wrong line of train of thought here. When you was chief of police, we didn't have near the population. We didn't have near the problems in the street drugs that's out there today. And it's very easy for that man to pull up on a car today and walk up there to do something, and a man be sitting there with an AR-15 and start popping. Yeah, his dog's in the truck, but there's gonna be some help. But it's all right to call Denton, Easton, wherever, and ask them to come to our county, but we can't ask our town to go to them for 3 hours. I understand what you're saying, we're running on a skeleton crew, but you're running on one anyway. And if you don't hire this dog, who's gonna say Baker's not gonna come and get this guy like he did George and the dog? You got to think about the whole show.
All right, thank you.
Just a couple things. Chris did note that it was 70% of the page that voted. That was 35 people. It was 35 people on the page that voted yes. I mean, I think there might be 500 people on the page, but 35 people voted yes. As a resident in Greensboro, I don't see the need of having a dog. I know that sounds crazy. There's tons of drugs. Do I think it'll help the drug bust? No, we don't have the cops here to do the drug bust. That's why Caroline County comes in and does the drug bust and not our local police department. I understand that people are like, why is Caroline County sharing with us but not with them, or we don't want to share with them? Well, we pay Caroline County. Caroline County residents do not pay for the police dog here. I like dogs. I have dogs myself. Again, it's nothing against the dog. I just don't personally believe it's a good time. And it's an older dog. It's a retired, like if the dog has been retired, we're gonna pull the dog out of retirement, put it to work, let the kids in the community get used to this elderly dog, and then, I mean, she's already on 3 legs, but that's all.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? Okay. All right. So you have a rebuttal, Chief?
Yes. Speaking on the dog that is retired, it's no secret that Sergeant Adams came from another police agency. I think it is a decision was made when he was going to seek other employment. He decided to retire the dog. It was not the department. He decided to retire his dog. Because he was going to look for employment elsewhere. So I want that on the record, that the dog was not retired due to age or due to, lack of performance. The canine handler chose to retire that dog before he left the former agency.
Okay, thank you.
Why was it retired then? Like, I don't understand, I'm sorry, I don't understand that. If the dog, you retired the dog just to retire the dog, there was no reason to retire the dog?
Amanda, can you come to the podium,
Yep.
please, if
You're
you've got a
welcome.
question? Thank you.
And the dog, why was the dog retired then?
I'm going to let Sergeant Adams answer that if the mayor would and council would allow him to.
That's fine.
I do apologize for the back and forth. The dog was retired, so the dog would stay with me. I didn't want the dog to go to another handler. We've created that bond, so I didn't want
my previous employer take the dog and go to another handler, because we already created that bond. So it was my decision in our general orders down south to retire the dog. It was my ultimate discretion to retire the dog. It's not because of age or 3 legs. So, just still able and capable of finding dogs.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, thank you. All right, so I think we, one more.
Kim Ernest. So I just wanted to touch base on the whole polling, the 70%. And while it may only be 35 people that voted, that's probably better than the participation that we've had as in the past. So I don't want to dismiss those 35 people just because it seems like a low number. They have a say as well. They're taxpayers as well. And that should be taken into consideration.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. So we're all done now. So this is the council's decision. It's not mine to make, and the only comment that I would have is from my previous life. I had experience with canines, and I found them to be very useful to the police officers and to the neighborhood that they patrol. They're a lot of work. They can be expensive, but I also think that it would put the chief in a very difficult situation where he's not willing to help out his allied agencies who come to help us when we need help, and it would put him in a very difficult spot working on other projects that I would not like to see him be in. So that's my thoughts on it. So we need to do something one way or the other, so I'm looking for somebody to make a motion that we either hire the dog now or we table it until July, because it's in the, although the budget's not approved, it is currently in the budget as you had talked about in the workshop.
I would like to go ahead and make a motion to go ahead and hire the dog for 2 months until the July budget for $2,000. We have a drug problem. I don't think it makes a difference from now till July. After hearing the public, I'd just like to make that motion.
All right, is there a second to the motion?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to bring the dog on to full duty as soon as we can get a contract signed, that the dog would then belong to the town of Greensboro and get it registered back again with the state so they can do its drug work. I look for a vote. Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so we have 3 ayes and 1 nays. Motion is carried.
Hold on.
Can you recount that? I didn't get a chance. I have one more question. No, I just have one more question.
Did you abstain?
He said to bring the dog on immediately. Do you have $2,000 in your budget currently to pay for the $2,000 that we would need to get you to the end of the budget?
Yes.
Aye.
All right, so for the record, you did vote aye, so we do have 3 ayes and 1 nays, correct? All right, motion is carried. I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. I thought that was gonna be easy. Town attorney.
Okay. I just have 2 quick things. First, my assistant has been handling the applications and resumes for the town manager position. As of today, there have been 32 applications which have all been sent to you all for review. In addition, yesterday I received a petition for judicial review filed by the Halo properties that were denied the special exception for the solar project. I have asked the attorney who filed that if they would agree to a stay because the Board of Appeals has not issued their final decision yet. And over the phone, they agreed to the stay, but I will have to draft the stay. And what the stay would do is it would give the Board of Appeals more time to get the written finding, and then when the written finding is issued, it would start the 30 days from then when the town would have to provide the record. So once a petition for judicial review is filed, the town is put on notice and the town has to file the record in the circuit court, which includes the transcript of the case and any materials that were submitted to the Board of Appeals. So by doing the stay, we buy some more time. And we'll eventually have to talk about that and what the town's position is going to be as far as putting on a defense to that.
All right. Any questions about that? All right, thank you. Anything else, Lindsay?
No.
Under old business, 300 North Main Street, the drainage repair, Brandon.
Yep, so 300 North Main, everybody knew it was labeled as a sinkhole at first until we found that there was a 30-inch storm drain pipe that runs from Cedar Lane. It does cross the state highway, but there is no state highway pipes connected at all. I cameraed the line, I got it all on video if anybody would like to see it. Ended up taking 90 loads of bank run gravel, had to put a couple of manholes in, 6 or 7 loads of riprap. Altogether, in total was about $118,000 to fix it. Legit our insurance company is paying the maximum payout on it, which is $25,000. We are still going through the permit process of after the fact. MD issued a permit before, or gave us clarification that we can permission to do it, but it's just paperwork process. Been monitoring it every day that it rains. Go out there a couple times during the day. Got vegetation growing. Just kind of waiting to hear more back from them.
So we're in the hole for over 100 grand.
Less, 118, 125, so 97.
100 grand. By the time he gets done his permit fees, it's going to be 100 grand.
All right, anybody have anything else for Brandon? All right, thanks. All right, next we have ordinance, resolution, I'm sorry, 25.
Under our old business, should we be talking about the mold that was in the evidence room from 6 months ago?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, years and years and years ago, they had a roof leak. They put a tin roof on. At some point in time, the vent that comes from the downstairs bathroom still leaked. It leaked water in the evidence room upstairs. It's been like that now for roughly 6 months, maybe a little bit longer. It's been sitting dormant. The capital property recovery team that came out here, they said as it was approaching wintertime, it did not have to be addressed. And it was was one of the things that slipped through the cracks, and it needs to be fixed before it spreads. Warm weather is when mold starts to, right now in wintertime it's dormant, so it doesn't grow, but it will start growing. So we had them come back out and do another analysis to give an updated price, to cut out all the drywall out, remove the insulation, remediate, air scrubber, disinfect everything. You're looking at, with parts and labor and everything, it's $1,846.
It's gotta get done.
It needs to be done.
We're gonna have the next issue.
So we're looking for council approval to go ahead and have that work done. Anybody opposed to it?
No, actually, I think you should give him 2,500 because there'll be some hidden stuff we'll finally put in there.
So somebody make a motion then to approve the spending of up to $2,500 to clean the mold out of the evidence locker.
I'll make the motion.
And second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion's carried. Also, Brandon, you need to talk about the trash bin.
That's on the back.
You want me to do it now?
Is it on the back?
Put the business.
Or just go?
Right there. Let's just
No,
wait.
no, no.
Let's wait.
We'll wait. All right.
Sorry.
All right. No. All right, so moving on then, following the agenda. All right, we're gonna talk about a resolution now for the hazard mitigation plan.
You want me to?
Yes, please.
Sure. What you have in front of you is Resolution 2025-R01, which adopts the 2025 Caroline County Hazard Mitigation Plan. Some of if you were going to get emergency funding through FEMA or MEMA, you are required to have a hazard mitigation plan in order to obtain those funds. The town has adopted the Caroline County Hazard Mitigation Plan in the past. This is just their updated plan that they renewed.
All right, thank you. That way the public knows what we're voting on.
Yeah, and a copy of the plan is on the Caroline County website.
All right, thank you. All right, so then I will look for a motion to approve Resolution 2025-R-01 as read by our town attorney.
I'll make that motion to approve resolution number 2025-R-1.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. I need y'all to sign that. Give that back to me, please. All right, the constant yield tax rate.
Do you want me to speak on this?
Sure.
Okay. So the town's current tax rate is 70 cents. Your current constant yield tax rate starting July 1 of 25 is 0.655. You don't need to vote on it this evening, but I need to have an understanding of what you're going to do with the current tax rate, because if your intention is to increase it above the current tax rate of 0.70, we have to have advertising in the paper, and there's a statutory advertisement that has to go to the paper with a specific font and wording, and it has to be done at the beginning of May, so I would need to know relatively soon.
All right, so the budget that we've been working on through the workshops is based on a 0.68 cent constant yield tax.
Okay, great. And then when you have a more finalized budget and you're ready to set the tax rate, we will set it at the same time of the ordinance adopting your budget.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Trash bids now, Brandon.
All right, so we opened up the trash bids on 4/14/25. There was actually two people, two companies present. One did not want to put a bid in. That was Republic. Big Time didn't submit a bid for the. Okay. So their bid just shows a slight increase over the first year of, I think it's roughly 2%, goes from $19.89 per month per dwelling, and that includes the landfill fee. Second year, $20.11 per month. Third year, $20.32 per month. And like I said, it was submitted by Big Time Trash. Creighton was the one representing, and that's it. So, real quick, just you guys got an overview of the trash. I gave you all a paper breakdown. Currently, the current price is right now is $19.50 per dwelling, which the town currently pays $13,474 a month. Annually, $161,694. Breakdown is the residents cover $136,018, and then the town picks up $24,876. That's currently based off of the $49.50 quarterly bills to the residents. With including the first phase of Kittlemans, as there's already 5 houses built, and they're getting ready to go on the market. There's, if you guys approve and set Big Time, it will be $19.89 per dwelling. The town's monthly cost would be $14,300.91. Annually would be $171,610.92. Breakdown on that, as the current rates that residents get charged, residents would cover $142,362, and the town would increase to $29,248.92. The only thing that is not on here is for the FY26 budget, you guys did allow $175,000 for it. So my recommendation to you guys is Big Time's been good to us, and we haven't had any problems. We actually discussed prior to him even putting a bid in, we discussed a couple of questions and concerns. There has been a couple of cans damaged, so we've addressed some of them issues.
Have they fixed those issues?
Yes. And there's gonna be some more current ones that we found out recently they will take care of.
So, that's a lot of numbers, Brandon. So I'm gonna summarize it for those in the audience that maybe couldn't keep track of what you were saying. But currently, right now, yearly, we are paying $161,694 for trash collection. With the new bid, which goes up 39 cents per house, we'll be paying in the coming year $171,610. So it's not a significant increase, and we are not raising the price of what the household is going to continue to pay. So right now, the $49.50 does not cover the current price. However, we built that into the budget so we don't have to raise your trash costs. So I will look for a motion from the council to accept the bid from Big Time Trash in the amount of $19.89 per month for the first year, $20.11 per month for the second year, and $20.32 per month for the third year, which does include the tipping fee.
I will make the motion to accept the Big Time Trash bid at $19.89 per month for the first year, $20.11 per month for the second year, and $20.32 per month for the third year.
And is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, bid is accepted. Thank you.
You guys do good work.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
He smells good too.
I don't smell the trash.
Not at all.
Someone's working on a discount.
All right, so we're going now to public comment. Pardon me? Is he here? Oh.
The soil guy came in late.
All right, so I assume that you're David Castle?
Yes, sir.
All right, you'd like to talk to us about Sunrise Solar?
Yes, sir.
All right.
First of all, I apologize for being late there. Mine, Mike?
It's at the bottom.
Very bottom.
That side, sir.
Just push it in.
These are like the hardest mics out here.
On the side. Or you can use mine.
Check. I apologize to you all and everyone here for being late. There's no excuse on my part. I was actually dilly-dallying waiting. I thought it was at 6:30. I've been to several town meetings, again, I apologize for taking up your time. And I thank Jamie for putting me at the beginning of a meeting. That's really pretty hospitable on your part. Going at the end can be tough. We have been going to several towns and have contracted recently a good size project with the town of Perryville. And I wanted to offer to you all an opportunity that we have been talking to several towns about, which is to save them money on their budget. You know that you may or may not know, we are a Chestertown company. We've been in business for 15 years. I've saved last year over $4 million for our customers in electrical costs. I do know that in towns, their budgets are very tight, and it's not something that you can afford to go out and buy a solar system and get all the benefits of a solar system. But there is a way that investors would be willing to build a solar system for your town and maintain that solar system so that there's no cost to you at the beginning, or if the project were to fail, so to speak, there's no impact to the town whatsoever. So there's really only upside for you all, which can reduce some operating costs and add to your line items. I do know that in towns, oftentimes when you set your wastewater number to the town people, that oftentimes the electricity is the largest factor when you do set that number. So in reducing your electrical costs, there might be an advantage for the citizens as well. And so what we would like to propose, and I think I gave a couple of samples of these projects that we have proposed to different towns, giving them savings. Many towns go to third-party suppliers to reduce their costs, which is great in terms of the supply side of their bill, but if you were to have your own solar system, it would reduce not only the supply side, but also the delivery side. So anywhere where there's an electric cost, that would be eliminated by solar. So there's an advantage there. The other thing is that you have to go either 1, 2, or 3 year sticks, they call them, when you go to buy third-party supply. And so you're constantly buying energy, and if it's the 3rd year, then you're buying against the rate that's now 3 years ahead. Versus this situation that we're suggesting, you would be knowing what your electrical costs are going to be for 25 years. And so that would be set, and so your savings would be projected based on the savings for that 25 years. I know that you do have some, I don't know what the feel for, I know what the feel for dogs are here in the town, but I don't know the feel for solar. I know that the large project on the old Brown Farm puts some emotion into how we all feel about solar, even those of us that sell solar. And so I don't know if that is something that would be a damper on considering this, but we would work with solutions for you. There's other ways of looking at doing it. For instance, for the town of Perryville, we're building this solar system in Cordova, and then they're getting the credit for that solar system there. So there's different ways of skinning the cat, if you will. And we feel good about this. We're an Eastern Shore company. We're going to Eastern Shore towns, and we have a solution to help. And so we feel good about what we're doing, and just would invite you in on that.
Say that one more time.
We're in Eastern Shore.
Building a thing in Cordova.
Yeah.
For Perryville, Maryland.
Yeah. So as a not-for-profit.
So what is the benefit of it being built in Cordova for Cordova?
So it's built in Cordova, but it supplies.
But it supplies Perryville.
Yes.
Yeah. So as a not-for-profit, you can build a system anywhere within your utility company boundary, and then you can credit it back to that facility. Like a farm can do that. Farms and government buildings can take advantage of that. So you do have land, which would make it a cheaper application on your part, but again, there's just different ways. So I would propose that if you're amenable to this, then maybe we do a study and present you with some numbers to give you an idea of what we're talking about.
Well, anyone else would you like any number?
I'm not, because there's too much solar panels going on right now within Caroline County. I can't entertain it right now.
Can't give up the farm.
I can't entertain it right now.
If you made them all carpools, it'd be great.
Right.
We can do that.
We could stay out of the
Your
rain.
costs are a little higher with steel, but yeah, I mean, that's an option.
Put it at your house and sell it to us.
But in my house, it wouldn't fit.
Well, I thank you for coming down, but I don't think that the council has the appetite for that right now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, public comment, Pastor Morley.
Got two things to share with you today. First of all, I'm advertising EE25, which is our Easter extravaganza. It's going to be on April the 20th from 10 to 1. I think it's going to be a beautiful day. It's for the whole community. It's a free event. We've got egg hunts, we've got games, we've got inflatables, we've got crafts for the kids, even a face painter who does an excellent job. We're looking forward to it, and there's going to be some food as well. Everything's free. come out 10 to 1 on Sunday and enjoy Easter Extravaganza 2025. The second reason I'm up here, and I hopefully can get it in a couple of minutes, is to invite you as the town council and anyone in this room to the National Day of Prayer event that will be held on Thursday, the 1st of May at the courthouse in Denton, it's the Courthouse Greens. The National Day of Prayer is an annual event. It's started back in 1775 when the Continental Congress asked the colonies to pray for wisdom in forming the nation. The call to prayer has continued throughout our history. President Lincoln called us to pray for humiliation, fasting, and prayer in 1863. And in 1952, a joint resolution by Congress signed by President Truman declared an annual National Day of Prayer. And in 1988, the law was amended and signed by President Reagan, permanently setting the day as the first Thursday of every May. And so each year, every president has signed the proclamation encouraging all Americans to pray on this day. And last year, all 50 state governors, plus the governors of several U.S. territories, signed similar proclamations. You are all invited to be a part of that, and I want to give you a handout for that. Okay?
All right. Thank you. All right, thank you, Pastor Moreland. Chris Mason?
Since the solar guy left, and I can't say how much we actually hate him, I guess I'll just go through and, I guess he left, yeah. So I do have a question. So it looks like we know where the money's going now for the selling of Town Hall to pay for that $118,000 and stuff like that. But I do have a legitimate question. I noticed it's for rent online, and my question is for that, it's $24 a month. And I know you're getting ready because you know my question. You know it? Yeah. So, the concern, which I'm sure you're going to address, is why it's, and obviously we had to sell because of asbestos and mold and all this kind of stuff. But yet this guy's got it for rent. And I'm just wondering how, code enforcement, whatever, is allowing him to put it for rent when all that stuff's not done and debated, the whole 9 yards. So. But I'm sure.
So we contacted the owner and let her know that they cannot rent it until it's totally abated. And we spoke to Hal, who does our inspections too from MDIA, and he said they cannot. We have signed documents where they signed off about all the mold and asbestos too from the realtor, and I explained that to the people that bought it, and she understands that she can't rent it, and she won't get a rental license from us. And then if they start to move in over there, move renters in, we'll take it to court and get them moved out.
All right. That's my question. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, thank you. Amanda, did you sign up for public comment? Is this you here, 8? I can't understand the last name, so I'm assuming it might be you.
Yeah, I got some more stuff to say. I wasn't trying to crap on the page about the 35 votes. My thing with the votes is not everybody on that page that votes, not a resident of Greensboro. The other thing but on this page, it was brought to our attention that several members of the sober living house are sexual offenders. Now, previously, when it was bought, the original owners came to town council and said that there would be no one there with a criminal history. We know that it's been repurchased, so I'm sure that it's clear those laws no longer apply. But in doing the research and looking at like the restrictions of where you can live in town and versus schools, there aren't any. Is that something that Greensboro could put in?
There's a daycare right by the library.
Yeah, I thought, there's other states that have those restrictions in the schools and things like that, but Maryland doesn't seem to. But I thought maybe Greensboro, I don't know if it's something that Greensboro's even allowed to do, but I thought maybe that's something we should look into, because I believe there was 20, almost 30
There's a lot.
people that lived on.
I think there are some restrictions for where they can live. I know they have to register with the sheriff's department. Chief, can you address what those restrictions are?
Yes, if you are a registered sex offender, you must register with the Caroline County Sheriff's Department. I think I have two deputies that randomly come out and make sure that they're in compliance. They do house checks, and they're detectives. So yes, that is housed and monitored by the Caroline County Sheriff's Department.
Do you know about the restrictions of where they can live and where they can't? I think there's something to do with schools and other things, but I don't know them off the top of my head.
I'm not sure, however, that may be a question for the sex offender personnel at the Caroline County Sheriff's Department or Sheriff Donnie Baker.
Would you reach out to them and get that information for us, please?
Absolutely.
Something else we can look into, that property specifically received conditional use, special exception approval to operate, and there were conditions on the operation, so we can make sure that they're compliant with the conditions. Also, as part of the application, if they proposed a use that they were approved for and they're no longer using it for that use and they have exceeded that scope, that's something we can look at.
All right, is that something you will look at for us?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I just really want to make it clear that I'm not against the sober living house. It's
Just sex
that this, I'm against sex offenders. I am. I really am. That's all. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I know, right? They should.
Bill Schaffner?
Mr. Bill, the microphone.
Now to the man, thank you. First, it's good to see Pete back. Pete, been thinking about you. My broken record is there are still reports that get put together and presented, and the attendees of the town meetings don't get copies of those reports. We did once, maybe twice, get copies of the reports that you guys have in front of you. Brandon's report, while helpful and full of information, was pretty detailed, and it's real hard. Thank you for what you did to clarify some, but even that, we should get copies of these reports, and I'm not sure I understand why we can't. So that's my request.
Because we just been short-staffed, Mr. Bill, but I can guarantee you we'll have them from now on.
Thank you, Jim.
Kevin, did you want to get on public comments? You're not on here, but.
Just 1 second.
Oh.
Is there a way that prior to the meeting, because the reports are posted, you guys have them ahead of time, can we post them on the website so people can see them before they come?
Yeah, I think we previously talked about doing a full agenda pack, so there would be the agenda with all the agenda items behind it posted online in advance of the meeting.
I just don't want us to be printing out a bunch of documents on those meeting nights where there's 2 people here, we're wasting paper and toner and just
Yeah, I
necessarily.
don't think we'll give copies to everybody, but we'll make it available on our website.
Yep,
Yeah.
thank you.
I just got a comment back from the Caroline County Sheriff's Department. The sergeant who's in charge of the sex offenders, she advised that a sex offender can live wherever, unfortunately. So there's not a law in Maryland which deters them from living anywhere close to a school.
But can Greensboro put in an ordinance, or is that like over top of us? Like, is that something we're just not at that level to do?
Probably discriminatory at that point, but I
The state can discriminate against them, why can't we?
Well, they
Well, the
don't,
state's
because
not
they have no
discriminating
restriction on
against them.
it.
It's a problem.
Right.
They gotta register with one area.
Well, they have to register, but there's no restrictions. I don't know why they register if there's no
Change the
restrictions.
ordinance.
but-
Change the ordinance.
Well, I will look at whether we
Who's
can
gonna
put,
appeal it, the sex offenders?
yeah, all 30 of them.
Yeah, all 30 of them?
Yeah.
I'd love to go against them in court, that'd be awesome.
Well, not for discrimination, the town doesn't want to pay that bill.
We'll find a way to get rid of them.
We'll advertise that battle.
One of them was convicted less than 6 months ago.
Really?
All right, Kevin Parks, next.
So I was just showing the commissioners, let me downsize this. January 7th, 2020, at 10:33 a.m. We flashed this chimney on this roof because it was leaking, remember that? And I took pictures of this roof, of what I could get, you know, for where our ladder was sitting. I showed the commission the ladders and my guys on the roof. This roof from the Amish guys, because Wendy and Kibler had their honeys up here and wouldn't wait on me to give them a bid, and they had the Amish guys put this roof on. So now you got a roof that's full of caulk. Screws are caulked in. You know what's gonna happen?
It's gonna leak.
Oh, it's gonna leak. And probably within the next couple of years, they're gonna start leaking. And you know what you're gonna have? You're gonna screw your system. You ain't gotta pay for it. Well, you will, because you're gonna be back full with this black mold again. So you need to get somebody, my personal opinion, you need to get somebody with oversized screws to come out here and take them out and put them back in.
Want the rubber washers on?
With a bigger washer,
Yeah.
a bigger screw.
I know a guy, his name's Kevin
That's that guy. He's getting too old for Spider-Man.
Thanks, Kevin.
All right. Council remarks.
One more comment.
One more comment.
Yes, I didn't sign up, but.
I did sign up.
Donna Clay on Bernard Avenue, and I just want to say that I'm very happy with the fence that has gone up. I'm happy where they placed it, I'm happy the way it looks, and thank you for staying on that. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome. Brandon sent me a picture of it yesterday.
Yeah.
Great. It's
Yeah.
great.
Don, I'm gonna write your name on here, okay?
Yes, I am on there, I just didn't put yes or talk.
Kim Ernest, and I just have a brief clarification question. The rates for the trash service was discussed, and it's not gonna be raised for the fiscal year 2026. Will they not be raised for the duration of the contract?
Their rates won't be raised,
No,
no.
I mean ours.
I can't promise that. I mean, each budget year, you know, the council looks at it again, and historically, we haven't raised the trash rate for a long time, unless somebody has better memory than I do, but it's been a really good while since we've charged more to the citizens. The town has been eating more, but we haven't been passing it on to the residents.
Okay, so the stay rate is just for this fiscal year
Correct.
coming up for 26?
Correct.
Okay.
All right. All done. Okay, council remarks.
So, as we know, April is Autism Awareness Month, and we had our Autism Awareness event last Saturday, and I just want to say thank you to all of those. Amanda, thank you for what you did before you left, and all of those who stepped in. It was awesome. It really felt like a community. People, despite, you know, the baseball parade, we had kids there, and everybody had a good time, and all of the vendors were excited about, you know, collaborative events upcoming. We're looking into having some work with the police department where they get trained and do mock stops on how to deal with situations, emergency situations when, you know, they have autistic children in the car. It was just a great day, and we're so excited about it growing in the future. And again, thank you everybody who came out and helped, and for all those participants. And we're gonna get some thank you notes out to everybody, and it was just a great time. And I hope next year we'll see more faces, so.
All right, thank you. Joe?
I was also involved. I gotta thank my wife, Melissa Noon. We was up Friday night till about 2 o'clock in the morning. She was making T-shirts, so I was very tired. Thank also Miss Harrison, Commissioner Harrison's wife, and Commissioner Harrison for coming. A lot of people showed up. Love autism. Love the kids. The information was outstanding that they gave out. I asked every vendor, and they were like, you know, if one person showed up, it made it worth it. The networking that they had between each other was amazing, and they thanked us, and they were like, we can't wait till next year. So again, I can't wait for these events throughout this year coming up. I think it's going to be amazing and great. So thank you.
Bobby? I want to thank Jamie, Amanda, and Julie for all pitching in.
Good job, Amanda.
Everybody.
Dawn.
Is it on?
You said Amanda.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dawn, excuse me. But I just want to thank everybody for your hard work. Also, Brandon, excellent time in the basketball program. Lennox and myself, Joe, we had a great time playing basketball with the kids. I think the kids appreciated it. They were awesome. So,
I
gave
had
some
scored.
leadership, yeah. So, you know, they're welcome. So, thank you.
Pete? I just want to thank everybody for their thoughts and prayers. It's been an interesting month, but one day at a time. But thank you all.
All right, thank you, Pete. The one thing that I would say that we don't have another, well, we will have a council meeting, but it's 2 days before. I know the town is working on having a fishing derby and a kids in the park all on the same day on May the 17th. Fishing is at 9 to 11 and kids in the park is 12 to 2. So that's a free event as well. So you should be seeing some flyers come out for that as well. And I'd like to thank all of the town staff for all that they've been doing and the hard work. And that's all I've got to say. So I will look for a motion to adjourn from the meeting and move into executive session to discuss personal matters and get legal advice.
I'll make that motion to close the meeting and go into executive session for legal advice.
And
Second it.
all right, first and second, all in favor? Opposed? All right, meeting is adjourned.